This is my sim racing PC that I use for iRacing, Le Mans Ultimate, Project Motor Racing, ASETEK Corsa, ASETEK Corsa Competizione, ASETEK Corsa Evo, ASETEK Corsa Rally, lots of ASETEK Corsa games, but also pretty much every other sim racing or racing game that you see on this channel. I review all the hardware using this PC. And I've made some upgrades to it that I think you need to know about. So if you're doing PC sim racing, then you're going to be really interested about what upgrades I've made, what's worked, what hasn't worked, what's been good value for money, what hasn't been good value for money, what I've been surprised by, etc. So let's get into it. So the first thing, because I built this PC with my own hands, and it was all bits of components, and I put it together, and when I put it together, it worked, but some bits didn't really work. And one of the main frustrations was the graphics card was a 4060 Ti 8GB graphics card. So listen up if you're interested about graphics cards in sim racing. So my 4060 Ti 8GB of VRAM, I think it was the VRAM just wasn't cutting it. ASETEK Corsa Evo was really not happy with it. It was just maxing out the VRAM. Like, it just wasn't working. The 4060 Ti, it didn't matter about everything else. It was holding the PC back. So I went out and I bought, a few months ago, a 5070 Ti, which you see here. This has been fantastic. This has been absolutely amazing. I have another PC with a 4090. For the vast majority of what I do, which is I want to be able to record good quality sim racing content at 60 frames a second in terms of the recording, this is absolutely fine. Like, I don't want to say overkill, but it handles it. It could be high settings, ultra settings. It handles it. If I'm playing by myself, obviously I can ramp up the frame rate as well. So this is fantastic. It's a 50 series, so I get all of the DLSS and all that kind of stuff. I don't really use it, to be honest. I try not to use DLSS. I just want to like brute force it. So with the more VRAM available in this, I paid about £700 for it. I was a bit worried that prices might go up, but they haven't actually gone up too much, I think. So go check the price for that. I'll try and put some links in the description. I happen to get an MSI one. Very happy with that. £700 for me, well spent on that. Much better than the 4060 Ti. Absolutely fantastic. Also because I'm capturing stuff as well. Like, I'm using a lot of capture cards. Having all the NVENC stuff and everything is like fantastic. So really happy with that. Another change I've made that's been fantastic is on the storage side. Okay, so you see on this motherboard here, I've got loads of these heat sinks. They're for NVMe storage drives. Now, when I built this computer, I put in a singular 4TB NVMe you saw in the video. That's been great, but it means my operating system, all my games, all my recordings are on the same hard drive. So what I did is I got another NVMe, another 4TB NVMe, and put it in another slot. So now all of my recordings from my software that I'm using to record the gameplay and everything goes onto that. Absolutely fantastic. They're about £300 now. I remember when I used to buy them before, they're about 200, so they've gone up 33% or so, depending, or 50%, depending on do the maths. But I still think it's pretty good value. Like £700 for the GPU, £300 worth of NVMe kind of transforms the system. So definitely have a look at NVMe prices. Obviously, the lower you go in capacity, the cheaper they are, but they can be transformative. I don't have any issues with overheating or anything like that. Now, in terms of other components, you can see that my CPU cooler, the screen doesn't work. So the screen has stopped working. I'm not sure why that is. I've got IQ running. This is a course. Corsair actually provided that to me for free, which is great. And it does a great job of cooling everything, but I'm not sure why the screen isn't working. Maybe I didn't connect something or whatnot. I'll follow up with Corsair about it. But if you're wondering why there's nothing showing, that's because the screen isn't working. But the cooler's fine. I didn't change the CPU. So the CPU was the 9900X. At the time, I was like, maybe I should have got an X3D. Now, I have no regrets with this build with the 900X because I'm actually doing a lot of other capture at the same time, a lot of programs going on, and I feel like the 900X has me covered. But I probably could have got an X3D, 7800, 9800, 9850 X3D. So as and when I do a new build, almost certainly I'm going to be doing X3D. So if you've got any thoughts on that, let me know in the comments. Now, the memory has changed also because LEXAR provided me with some memory, which is great. Big thanks to LEXAR. 32GB DDR5 Aries RAM. Now, whisper it, RAM prices are coming down. RAM prices look like they may be coming down. So worth kind of inspecting the RAM that's out there. Might be some kind of bargains to be had, bargains by yesterday's prices. But that runs up to 7200 megahertz. I can get it working at 6000 stably on my AMD system. So that's some new RAM there, Aries RAM from LEXAR. Big thanks to LEXAR. the RAM's doing great, good to have speedy RAM. I had to go into the BIOS, do all that kind of stuff, and check that it's stable. The first time I tried to run it super high, the machine wouldn't post properly, so I got it to 6,000 and it works, which is fantastic. In terms of the fans here, none of these have changed. Even this one, which you can see I should have rotated, but I'm very happy with the fan system. The system runs really, really, really cool. The downside of the system with this 5070 Ti is I wouldn't say this is a top-end VR sim racing setup. So for VR, I still use my 4090 because I've got the PIMAX Crystal Supers, I've got the Big Screen Beyond too, so I want to be pushing as many pixels as fast as possible. And I feel like the 4090 with its VRAM and everything is just better for VR. So that's the one downside I would point out with this 5070 Ti, is that it's not the equivalent of a 4090 when it comes to VRAM. But I'm very, very, very impressed with it. Very impressed. I don't regret getting it at all, like I said. In terms of the motherboard, I've also kept that the same. Really happy with the motherboard. Like I said, I'm running a ton of capture cards from AVerMedia, from Elgato, the two biggest companies, and they often need really high bitrate connections in via USB-C. So I run a load of USB-C hubs out of the PC. And this is an important note. If you've got a rig that's not super close to your PC, don't skimp on the cables and the hubs. I actually spend way more money than you think on hubs and cables. And I've got 2 or 3 USB-Cs at the back here that are very, very, very fast. So I can run a 5-meter long cable into a USB-C hub and basically have that by my rig and plug everything into my rig, down by my rig, if that makes sense. So that keeps everything nice and tidy, keeps everything localized, don't have to keep going back to your PC. So don't skimp on the USB-C hubs and cables if you're doing a build where your sim racing PC is going to be a little bit further away from your actual PC. The power supply here, I've kept the same. So the power supply is the same. Remember, that had headroom. And I really recommended in that original build, when you build your PC, give yourself a little bit of headroom on the PSU. So that meant when I upgraded this GPU, I didn't even have to think about whether my PSU can handle it. So I wouldn't mess around with the PSU. I've got a 1,000-watt PSU in here, so it can handle more than this, but it's chilling basically. I don't regret getting that. That PSU was provided by Corsair actually, so not like I bought that one, but I'm very happy that I've got a 1,000-watt PSU in here at the moment. Otherwise, I've been doing a lot of upgrades to my headsets. So you've seen my headset videos doing that, and controllers as well, all wireless. Getting a little bit, again, of interference of so many different wireless devices. Having the hubs can really help. You can take like your little dongles and put them in a hub. They're kind of spread out, so you don't have any issues with wireless interference. And also, I'm maxing out basically all of my ports here. So I've got 3 display ports on the GPU, 1 HDMI, and I've got 1 HDMI in the motherboard. I'm using all of them. So, you know, all of those ports being used. If I could have more ports on my GPU, that would be fantastic. But this PC is basically being maxed out for sim racing content creation. So if you've got any questions, if you're looking to build a sim racing PC or upgrade, just put them in the comments. I want to do a new build as well, so let me know what you think I should be looking at for my new build. And yeah, just wanted to update you on the PC, and I'll see you in the next one.